Welcome to the In and On the Net YouTube channel, everybody. My name is Devin, and I am going to be the host of this video today. On today's episode, we are going to be showing you guys how to cure salmon eggs. Now, here in front of me, as you guys can see, I have everything that we're going to need to cure salmon eggs. Really quickly, when you guys catch your fish, what you're going to need to do properly is bleed your fish. Now, we did a pretty good job of this. Unfortunately, we didn't get it on video for you guys, but that is going to be a huge important step to getting good quality eggs to cure up. To explain to you guys really quick on how to properly bleed a fish, I actually do have a video on my YouTube channel on how to properly bonk and bleed a salmon. So I don't know if Josh wants to put that in the description, but he could. But basically, if you guys do not want to go over there, okay, envision this. You catch your fish. You got your fish on the bank, okay? You just caught your fish. You know, bonk the fish on the head. You either need to rip the gills out with your fingers or take a pair of scissors and cut up the gills so the fish properly bleeds out. You can grab the fish by the tail and put the head down and shake it. All the blood will then rush down out the gills, thus getting all the blood out of the eggs. So there's a few basic things that you guys are going to need to do this. Obviously, salmon eggs. I like to have a sharp knife with me, a butter knife, egg cure. Today we're going to be using TNT bait cure. This is krill dynamite. This stuff is amazing for pretty much everything. Chinook, coho, steelhead, it literally catches all of them. Gallon bags. You don't have to use gallon bags. You could use any plastic bag or plastic container. Paper towels, and you guys will see why we need the paper towels. So let's go ahead and jump into the first part of what we got to do here to prep these eggs for the cure. You guys can see here on the bottom of the eggs, there's a bunch of dangly stuff. So we are going to clean these eggs up to prepare them. Take your sharp knife, and you could use scissors. Just take it here and just cut that off. Same thing with this one. It's got a little bit of dangly stuff on there. And just cut it, you know, get that stuff off of there. As you guys can see here, we did a pretty good job of bleeding the fish, but there is still some blood in the veins of the eggs here. This side actually looks pretty dang good. We could push that out, but don't necessarily have to. You're gonna take your handy dandy butter knife here, okay? And I always start at the thin part of the eggs and work towards the fat part of the eggs. So you're gonna take the smooth part of the knife, okay? This is the serrated side, this is the smooth side. Take the smooth side and put it on that vein. As you guys can see there, I'm just gently pushing all that blood out of that vein, right? And as you guys can see here, it's working all the way at the very end of it, and it just pushes right out of the end of the vein there. Take a piece of paper towel here, okay? And just dab that blood that you got out of that egg, out of the vein, I guess. Okay. Wipe your knife off, and bam, skein number one is done. Rinse and repeat. Take the next one here, and we actually popped the vein on this side, so I'm going to dab all this blood out, push all that blood out. And you guys can see there, look at that. It is working right down the vein. Then it comes right out the end of the vein. Take your paper towel, dab it up. You're gonna take your egg, flop it down. Okay, butter knife. The reason you use a butter knife, you could use a sharp knife. Okay, I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it for the purpose of this video. Okay, so check this out, right? We'll do it down here where it doesn't really matter. Sharp knife, watch. It cuts the skein. Okay, I literally barely pushed on it. Butter knife, it doesn't cut it. Now you take your butter knife. This is the open side of the egg here, and that's the membrane. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the knife and gently push, and it's gonna separate the eggs, and this is called butterflying. And you go like this, and you gently push, and as you guys can see here, I'm just kind of pulling back, and look at that, how that egg is just opening up there. And you use the butter knife so you don't cut through the other side of the skein. Look at that. Now you have a nice butterflied open, perfect thing, and you can see that's where I cut through with the knife, and that's where I used the butter knife, and I didn't cut through the skein. So now you've done that, paper towel, and you're just gonna dab some of those juices that you kind of created off. This will give you a firmer egg when you're done. They won't be as liquidy. Dry that off, okay? Now you can keep that paper towel right there. So take these, just set them down. Then the same thing, you're gonna just repeat what you just did. And see, I'm just gently pressing And Josh will be able to zoom in on this, but you guys can see in there how there's all those little like membranes holding those eggs together. Basically what you're doing is you're just pressing hard enough to break those really thin membranes, but you're not pressing hard enough obviously to cut all the way through the egg. You're just being gentle and running the knife down the egg. And the reason why I'm doing this is so when you sprinkle the cure on the eggs, it's going to cover the entire skein of eggs. Like every single little individual egg will end up getting cure on them. Now comes into play our plastic bags. Open your bag, take your eggs, plop them in there. And what's kind of nice about doing this too, the way that I'm doing it, is say you guys want two different scents of eggs. So say you want to use like TNT on one and like Procure on the other. This gives you the option to do that, but for this purpose we are going to use TNT on both of these. Now you take your other skein here, open up the bag, plop it in. Now what you guys are going to do here is you're going to take your cure, shake it up, get the like clumps out of it. And now as you guys can see here, there's bulk and there's sprinkle. We're going to open up our bag, right? Take the sprinkle and just start sprinkling it in. And we're just covering the eggs. We're getting a nice like base coat on top of the eggs here. Okay, what you're gonna do, you're gonna close the bag and you're just gonna massage these eggs really gently. And we'll show you guys here in just a second kind of what this looks like. And you'll be able to compare and contrast the eggs that actually have cure on them and the eggs that don't. Now you guys can see here, so see how those ones are really orange? And these ones over here are pink and covered in cure. I obviously didn't get enough cure on those, so what do? You're gonna take your cure and you're gonna sprinkle again. And you just do a light coating, like where you didn't get cure. Bam, 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 just do a nice little coating on it. Close that up, seal your bag again. And now just do the same thing, just toss it. Gently toss it. You don't want to be too rough with them, but they are pretty durable. You know, just mix it up like this. Another thing that's kind of nice too is this also kind of helps keep your own scent off it. So if you were to do this with gloves, you would get zero human scent on it, which is kind of nice actually. And then we're going to go ahead and do it one more time because I like to have firmer eggs. And maybe I'm wrong, but if you add more cure, generally you'll get a firmer egg. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody can probably re-quote me on that. Now we're mixing it up. Yeah, and you guys can see there, that's actually the liquid. The cure basically sucks the juices out of the egg. The cure then cures, or what's like a preserve? Okay, yep, so it preserves the liquid and stuff in the eggs, and then the eggs juice that stuff out, it gets cured, and they reabsorb it, and it does that process over and over and over. So basically, look at the bottom of the bag, see how it's all liquidy? That's because it's doing what's supposed to. And you can mix it up, and it gets all the juices flowing, gets them in that cure. So what you guys are going to want to do is you're going to want to take the eggs, and every 15 minutes, you can refrigerate them or not refrigerate them. Doesn't really matter. I've never found much of a difference. So you're going to flip them, like take the bag out of the fridge and flip them just like this. Every 15 minutes, you'll set it back down. 15 minutes later, do the same thing. You guys are going to do that for the first couple of hours. And then after you guys do it for, 3 or 4 hours, basically, after you give it probably 10 flips or whatever, then you guys are going to let them sit for hours at a time. Come back, flip them again, and then basically you want to give it at least 24 hours kind of deal, and then they'll be cured. You can store them in a glass container, plastic container, whatever you guys choose to store them in. You could leave them right in the plastic bag, doesn't really matter. But that is how to cure eggs. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up, possibly think about subscribing to In and On the Net Fishing, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.